Are you ready to file an IRS protective refund claim? Great. In this lesson, I'm going to show you how to file the protective refund claim specifically for interest. The first thing you're going to need to do is do a Google search and download the Form 843. Double check that the URL has irs.gov in the description. Next, you are going to take some text and you are going to write protective refund claim pursuant to Kwong Case at the top or something similar. It doesn't have to be those exact words. And then make sure you drag that text to the top of the page. Next, scroll down to the section that says Other, and you're going to select the Other box. In that box, you want to say something similar to interest and penalty refund of calculation based on both pursuant to 7508A, lowercase d, Kwong versus United States. Next, you're going to enter some general information, your name and social, your spouse's name and social if you are married, your address, and your daytime phone number. One thing to keep in mind for this example is we are not entering data for EINs, businesses, or for those foreign entities. Next, you want to enter the year. So in this example, you see the transcript follows 2022. So you want to go January 1st, 2022 through December 31st, 2022. Quick note, you can only include 1 year on each form. Next, going back to your transcripts, you are going to look for your interest amount. So we see two interest amounts, code 196 on October 24th, 2022. Another one, same code on November 21st, 2022. The total amount is $70.67, and that is what's going to go on line 2, amount to be refunded or abated. Line 3 is going to ask what was the date that the amount was paid that you're requesting a refund. You will see a payment amount. In this example, the payment amount is the code 670 at the bottom, $2,847.77, which brought the account current. So that's the date that you want to enter on line 3, 19th, 2022. If your amount still has not been paid, you are looking to file an abatement claim, which is a little bit different than this refund claim in this example. For abatement, stay tuned to our next video, which is going to highlight how to complete an abatement. One final note here is if you made the payments over multiple payment dates, you need to include all of those dates here. And if you need additional space, include an additional attachment with the dates in which you made all of the payments related to the interest on this form. Next, we're going to skip down to section 4. Here, you're going to select income, as this is related to income taxes. Then you're going to go to section 5, select 1040. And on line 6, you're going to put 6601, which is the interest related code for the 843. Section 7, select reasonable cause or other reason allowed under the law can be shown. And then in section 8, you're going to enter a description. Now in your description, you want to make sure you put your name, your social, 843. This is for the 6601 interest claim. You want to enter the year as well as the amount of the refund and the date that it was paid. Also in here, you want to make sure that you include information around this was COVID related and pursuant to the Kwong versus United States case. Any other details you want to put in there, including 7508A, lowercase d, is also important to reference here. And one of the last things you want to make sure that you include is that you lived in whatever state you were in. So in our example, we put this based in California. Therefore, they want to say they were California during that FEMA declared natural disaster. So make sure you include that. At the bottom, you're going to make sure that you sign. This does have to be a wet signature. One way you can sign it here is by selecting the scribble icon and documenting it that way. Be sure to not sign this through DocuSign or a similar document like that, because it will not be accepted by the IRS. You can also print it off and then sign with a blue or black pen and then scan it back into yourself or fax it to yourself. Now that your Form 843 is complete, you will need to put your package together. The first thing you're going to need is a cover letter. You can use the same AI to create the cover letter based on the description you gave it. Then you're going to include the Form 843. You're going to include a copy of your transcripts. Let's make sure we send it to the right address. So on Google, just go in and say, where do I send my federal tax return by mail? You want to make sure you're on the irs.gov website. Click that. And then when you get to IRS, make sure it's for individual tax returns by state. You're going to scroll down until you see the states and find the state where you live during COVID that you're asking for this refund for. Go to that state by clicking the drop down, and you're going to choose the one that says send without a payment, usually the first column. An important note is on each certified mailing, you want to make sure that you outline what year it was sent and that this was for interest refund request, so that if the IRS says they didn't receive it for 1 year, you can easily locate when it was sent and track that it got there on time. And remember, one envelope for each 843, and 843 should be split by year and whether it's interest or penalty and refund or abatement. If you enjoyed this video, please take a moment to subscribe, like, and share. And thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next lesson.